Hi and welcome to the stock demonstrative video for Software for Fashion Retail. This one we're going to go through all the various different stock options, movement of stock specifically to do with transfers, basic adjustments, receipting, and as well as a stock inquiry as well. Before we sort of touch on that, I've got a little schematic here that I just want to walk you through. Basically, one of the key features and one of the strengths on which our product is designed is really to do with the various different stock rooms within a particular location. So in this little diagram here, what we have is an external supplier, store A, store B, and a distribution center. So how stock would work is it would come in from a supplier into your distribution branch, into an active stock room 11. We've also got various other different stock rooms which can be added as in how you please. In essence, what there would always be is an active stock room, an in-transit stock room, a damaged stock room, and then you can have the stock rooms within your distribution or your head office to do with redundant stock, seasonal stock that's been withdrawn, etc. From the point of sale, what happens is stock is transferred from the active stock in a distribution into the in-transit stockroom at a point of sale, where it waits to be receipted or GRV, GRN, whichever term you use. That would then move from the active stock, from the in-transit stockroom, should I say, to the active stock, and that is then sold from there. Should a lay-by be processed, it is moved into the lay-by stockroom until it's either returned or sold out of that lay-by stockroom. If you had a remote or off-site stockroom, you could transfer stock to that. And similarly, if stock is damaged, you can move it to a RTM, return to manufacturer stockroom, in which it can sit and be cleared out periodically. Similarly, if store A transferred that stock to store B, it would go from active stock to in-transit. Then when store B receipts it, it will be from in-transit into active stock again. So with that sort of little background, let's move into the program, because that will possibly make a little bit more sense then. So if we start with receive stock, what happens is receiving stock is the stock that gets transferred from a different branch. A branch being a point of sale branch, being a head office, whichever it may be, and you've got the distribution center here, you've got the different branches with branch codes, etc., and the different items that appear. So this bottom combo or bottom box shows all the available stock to be receipted. We can also go and narrow that down from here, so we can say on that particular date, and those were the items that were sent through. So if we click on this single particular item, what we can see is that code there, 102-1867 in black, was transferred from the Hillcrest branch to our branch, and they transferred one size 4. What we'll do is click on edit to receipt it, or Control E as a shortcut. That by default will say your current receipt is 1, you were transferred 1, are you happy? Yes. You can click on save or Control and S. And you can go through and receipt the various different stock items that way. It is also, when a large delivery is sent through from distribution, it automates the process by sequentially moving or displaying items, should I say. So if there was 10 items on an invoice, one by one they will appear, and you can edit, type in the quantities, and receipt those particular items. Again, edit and save, and that would receipt that particular unit. If it's partially receipted, it moves into what we call the receipt adjustment section, and completed receipts shows us all the completed receipts. You can short receipt stuff. However, over receipting is something that we don't necessarily allow, because that allows for loopholes. Because if 5 were transferred from the source and 10 were receipted, for argument's sake, at the destination, where did the other 5 come from? So you would receipt what you have, get in touch with the source branch, and ask them to take corrective measures. Alternatively, you can go through and process what we call an adjustment to adjust that particular stock figure. This is a stock adjustment, which is a basic adjustment facility. It can be used as a crude stock taking method, should you wish. Alternatively, you can make use of our wireless stock take, which is far more advanced with variance reporting, single update, and you can go through and use that, which I will put together and demonstrate in an alternate video. If, however, you just wanted to change the value, adjust the value of a single particular item, what you would do is select the stock room you wish to adjust, the product that you wish to adjust, 102-1105, 1500 should I say. No, I typed in the wrong code there, so I can press home, 102-1105-black, and it'll find my item there for me. Now these are the codes. What is the reason I'm adjusting it? Let's say it is a size correction. Click on edit, and now I can go process the correct quantities. I have 4 size 3s, I actually have 1 size 5, 7 size 8s, 7 size 7s, 0 size 8s, a 9 and a 10. So I'm just reshuffling my sizes there and go through and save that. Again, this isn't a functionality you want to give to all staff, so what you would do is you would go and block this particular menu item to staff that you don't want accessing this particular form. Transferring of stock. You have the ability to transfer stock internally. Now when we say internally, we're referring to the various different stock rooms that I mentioned previously. So if I just open up this little schematic again that I showed you, if you wanted to transfer stock in amongst any of these stock rooms, let's say to a remote stock room, a downstairs stock room, an offsite stock room, that would be what we call a internal transfer. No documentation printed, because you're generally just moving it from one location to another, and it's not changing hands. An external transfer, however, the stock would be changing hands, so I'll be giving it to a courier, to my delivery guy, and they would then move it to another branch physically, or my distribution center. So if you want, in the terms of process, it's all the same. If you wanted to transfer something in-store to RTM, you would select that, or let's say in-store to remote. I'm moving stuff to my offsite stockroom. So I can say 105, let me just use the same code to keep it easy. That's the code there, and these are my quantities. I can say edit and punch in my sizes. If I wanted to transfer more than one, I could do that as well. -1105 beige. So I've got those two items there. So under my black, let's say I want to transfer a 3 and a 7, and under my beige, I wanted to transfer a 4 and a 5 and a 6. Despite the fact that I've got 0, I'll go through and do an adjustment for that. Bad example, but just bear with me for now. You can go through and then save that, and that will go transfer that stock from my in-store to my remote stockroom. If I did that in error, I can go transfer remote back to in-store, and I can do the same thing. 1105. Let me start with beige now. You can see I've got my 4, 5, and 6 that I transferred, and if I select my black, you can see I've got my 1 and my 7 that I transferred. So let's say I want to transfer those back. Edit, select the 1 and the 1. Under my beige, select 1, 1, and 1, and save. And that will then move my stock back into my in-store stockroom. Easy enough. Externally, if I wanted to transfer it to another branch, I'm required to select a destination. So let's say I'm sending it to the Pavilion branch, a 102-1105. Again, I'll just use the same code. Now I can go through and say 13, sorry, I need to click on edit first, a 3, a 7, and a 9. The reason we have the edit save functionality, it might seem sort of tedious, but we do that just so there's sort of positive confirmation of the process that you're actually doing, as opposed to if I just closed the form and it went through and processed it, I might not be aware that I actually processed that particular sale, whereas physically clicking on save, I'm confirming that action. So that clicks on save, that goes through and transfers that stock to that particular branch. Then that's it really. If I've made a mistake by transferring it to the incorrect branch, unfortunately I will need to get the destination branch to send it back to me so I can send it through to the correct branch. Because the stock, the data would have now left my store, moved to the destination branch. They can send it back to me, I can receipt it and take corrective measures. Just lastly, what we have what's called a stock inquiry. Now a stock inquiry is a very valuable tool. What that allows you to do all online is go through and select various different items of stock that you want to display at other particular stores. You can go add a range of items, and then clicking on get stock for these particular branches will go through and say go through and display who has what stock at what various branches. So very, very key, very beneficial. It allows you to retain those particular customers rather than sending them away because they don't have a particular color or a size at the branch that you want. You can now easily go and see who has that stock and mention to the customer that take their details down, and sir or ma'am will give you a call as soon as the stock arrives in our particular branch. Regarding those stock transactions, those are sort of the main stock transactions. We also have what we call a product definition, which is really sort of a virtual stockroom, if you like. Just a place where you can come and actually view what stock you have within your own particular branch. So I just went through and ticked all the various different stock rooms because that's what I'm wanting to see. Let me say sort by product, click on find, and enter in my code, -black. It goes through and finds my code. My size breakdown here is what I'm currently holding in terms of stock. Those add up to your quantity of 11. These are the various different sizes, obviously. My RRSP tab is what the different prices are, and you can see you can have different prices from 2 different periods. So these prices are obviously very old. It's an example database, but what you could say is you could forward data and markdown to be the 1st of March, the 1st of December, whatever it may be, and that price will automatically take effect. So you don't have to do it when you actually want to change the price. This override price is a branch-specific override. If you were doing a promotion, or if you had a branch whereby items were sold at a higher or a lesser price than other branches within your chain, you could have a price specific to a particular branch as well, which is also very useful and very nice. And then you have the transactions tab, which really is just a list of all the various transactions processed against that particular item. So these here are the various different transactions that I processed earlier to do with the various different transfers. You can see the size breakdown there, 3, 7, one of each. Where was it going? This was from stockroom 21, -2, into stockroom 25, +2, and then remember I did that correction, taking it out of 25, which is the remote stockroom, and putting it back into 21, which is my active stockroom. So various different transactions, just a little utility, a little tool where you can come through and have a look-see for troubleshooting, why have I got negative stock, that type of thing, and you can see the user that processed the various different transactions. So that's really it regarding the stock. Again, sort of brief and to the point. I don't want to bore you and go on for too long. Have a look at some of our other videos. We'll go through the various different cash up and cash functions, as well as the different security options and the reports available from the point of sale. Thanks again. Ciao for now.